Owens and Brumley Funeral Home and Gene Burke Auto Glass proudly honors the legacy of those who served during D-Day, the greatest victory.
Tomorrow marks 80 years since the longest day, D-Day, when thousands of American lives were lost trying to liberate Europe from Hitler's death hold. Among those there over the skies of Normandy, a B-24 gunner who grew up 5,000 miles away and graduated from Wichita Falls High School. Curtis Jackson and I recently had the honor of visiting with Frank Parkinson, and it's very evident, at 101 years old, the horrors of war and the pride in what was accomplished there have not faded with time. It was the beginning of the end of World War II. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces and 7,000 landing craft stormed the beaches of Normandy as they began the liberation of Nazi-occupied Europe.
A lot of people involved coming up the hill.
Frank Parkinson was among the many B-24 crews with bombing missions that day.
I flew nose gunner, waist gunner, ball turret gunner. I flew tail gunner.
The mission of Frank and thousands like him in other planes that stormy day was to soften the beaches and the miles of fortified German defenses before the troops came ashore.
It wasn't a pleasant game. No, it wasn't pleasant. Where I was, it's different for other people. Everybody didn't have the same thing.
One of the weaknesses of the B-24 was its weak wings that could give way because of outward folding landing gear. And if flak or German fighters forced crews out of what they called their flying coffins, getting out alive was no easy matter.
Oh, boy. Some didn't make it.
They didn't know for sure if they were going to make it, be alive at the end of the day.
Of around 14,000 B-24 liberators made during World War II, almost half of those, over 6,000, were lost. Each mission usually had 10 crew members aboard.
I was blessed. I was real fortunate, that's for sure. Some of them didn't make it.
He carried that burden with him a long time and always will.
Cynthia Schaffner says that's why they never asked their dad about World War II growing up, and he didn't tell. Then in 2018, Craig Parkinson was able to take a trip with his dad to France, where Frank was presented the French Medal of Honor.
To see people that we didn't even know, young and old when we were there, he was like a rock star, a movie star. They all wanted him, talked to him, pictures, they wanted his autograph, and these people they adore these veterans that helped liberate France over there.
I was fortunate to be able to do what I could do. That's the way I'd put it. That's what you do, nothing else. Do what you could do to help other people, and they had to help a bunch of them.
The D-Day missions make up one of the decisive moments of the 20th century, and Frank Parkinson was there. It's when he and other members of the greatest generation from large and small towns all across America rose up to protect freedom far from home. After the war, Frank and Johnny Parkinson raised their family right here in Wichita Falls. And it's in this area that many people remember Parkinson as the owner of Westmoreland Pool Company, installing pools for decades of Texomans. A hometown hero for sure.